Welcome to our 10th anniversary Legacy of Hope event. Can you believe that we've had 10 years of recognizing our Youth of the Years at this incredible event? It seems like time has really flown. I'm Carrie Prudenti Holden, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the president and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Puget Sound. And I could not be more excited to have that role. We look forward to sharing the impact of our work with you tonight, but don't worry, there won't be any charts or graphs. What we're going to do tonight is simply listen to the voice of the youth that we serve from our community. At the Boys and Girls Clubs, we help kids become anything they want to be by providing safe places, supportive role models, and new experiences. I think everyone in this room can agree that tonight is all about our kids. And the most important piece of the evening is recognizing our 7 outstanding Youths of the Year from Boys and Girls Clubs of South Puget Sound. On behalf of the clubs, I want to welcome you and thank you for sharing your time this evening. I know that we had snow. I know it may have taken some of you a little longer to get here, but I really appreciate you committing to being here with us this evening. I'd like to take a moment to thank some of those who made tonight's event possible. For those who sponsored this evening and invested your time and talents throughout our Youth of the Year program, I am deeply grateful. Our youth have had an incredible 6-month journey to tonight. They've had speech training, they've had interview skill set training, they have gone through all kinds of high pressure but fun environments, and they are ready this evening to meet you. I'd like to give a special thank you to some of our major sponsors this evening: Fred Meyer Fund, Dimmer Family Foundation, Patriot Fire and Protection, and U.S. Oil. Let's give all of our sponsors a warm round of applause, please. It's now my privilege to introduce to you our brand new board chair, Sue Shipley. And Sue literally accepted the gavel in January, so she really is our brand new board chair. She's been on our board for 4 years, and in addition to serving Boys and Girls Club with all of her immense free time, just kidding, there isn't a lot of free time, she is currently the Assistant Governor for Rotary District 5020 Area 10. I know that we've got a lot of Rotarians in the room tonight, so you understand the commitment to service that Sue has. Sue is also a lifelong educator, and she deeply cares about the kids that we serve in each of the communities that we're in. So with that, I'm excited to kick off not only this evening, but this year of programming. We've got an incredible pair, Sue and I. We're ready to take it on and make sure that we're able to serve as many kids as possible this year. She is an incredible woman, and I do hope you give her a warm round of applause as she steps forward to the mic to introduce herself to you.
Thank you so much, Carrie, and to everyone for coming tonight to celebrate with us the fruits of our labor, the children that we love, the children that you've been helping all along without maybe ever even having the opportunity to meet, and we're grateful for that. I'm very excited to serve the clubs and the youth in our community in this role. As an educator, when I look back on my life, I realized I've had 4 childhoods now. I had my own childhood, I had my children's childhood. As a teacher, I had the childhood of all the children who were in my care, and as a principal, exponentially even more children who were in my care for about 17 years. And as a retired person, I get to experience childhood along with the kids who belong to the Boys and Girls Club. And in each case, I learned something new. And what I began to learn as we progressed beyond my childhood and my children's childhood is that childhood is not the same for every child. They're all born so full of promise, so full of hope, but not all children are born with so much opportunity. And when we came to realize through the schools and later in retirement through Boys and Girls Club, how many different ways, without that much effort on our part, we can offer up that opportunity to children who may or may not even know opportunity exists. It has been such a pleasure for me to work with this with your help and with the help of all the staff here to begin to able to help these children find out who they really are, become their own best person, and grow up through the clubs, through their homes, through their schools, on into adulthood, where many of them come back and serve us as donors and as staff. So tonight is not only a celebration of our club kids, but it's also an opportunity to share with you the impact of our work and the work that you've helped to inspire and pay for, frankly. Our work that wouldn't even be possible without you. Thanks to each and every one of you for your investment, for allowing us to provide opportunities to the children in our clubs so they can become who they are born to be. And I want to take a few moments to especially highlight some people in this room who have been most impactful in this. I'm going to introduce to you some community leaders who've made a difference for our kids. And as I call each group, would you please stand? And I know it makes you shy, but keep standing, because we're all going to want to clap for you at the end, and it won't take very long. As I call these groups, please hold your applause until the end. First of all, would the Board of Trustees, the Board of Governors, and the committee members of the Boys and Girls Club please stand to be acknowledged. Thank you for your volunteer work and your leadership on behalf of children. Stay up. To some of the most dedicated and youth development staff, would our Boys and Girls Club staff, whether you're in the front line serving kids every day or in the office keeping the wheels turning in the admin office, would you please stand up so that we can thank you? These guys are amazing. We'd like to recognize all our elected officials and those representing our elected officials. Thank you for serving our communities and for taking time to be here tonight. Would you also please stand? Thank you. I know we have a number of guests representing the armed forces and all of our first responders. Thank you for working to keep us safe and our children safe. Would you please stand and be acknowledged? And finally, one of our biggest community partners and the one that is nearest to my heart, our schools. Would all the teachers and administrators and staff at the K-12 and post-secondary levels please stand? Now, you didn't follow my directions before and wait until the end, but now let's clap for all of them. By being here, I also want to thank you, those of you who maybe didn't stand this time, because you're making a commitment, investing in the future of our youth, and ultimately the success of our community. And for that, we're truly grateful. And now it's my honor to introduce our MC this evening, a fellow board member who is definitely going to keep things lively for us at our 7:15 meetings and lively for us tonight. Mike Linstra has been involved with the Boys and Girls Club dating back to when he was a student at PLU, Pacific Lutheran University. He was a work-study employee with the clubs and then later joined the marketing committee, corporate board, and finally our board of governors. For his day job, he's a senior account executive with Lamar Advertising. And in case you think he's very serious, let me tell you that he said, before we started today, that if I should happen to fall going downstairs on my crutch, that he would tell a joke and divert your attention. So let's hope he doesn't need to. Mike, please come up.
Thank you all for being here this evening. I want to thank you specifically for braving that half-inch of snow that hit. That was close, that was treacherous. I also want to thank you for being at the right place. We've been at the convention center for 5 years. I was a little worried. I thought there'd be some late attenders who are kind of running in, but looks like you guys made it. So I've been involved with the Boys and Girls Club since a student at PLU, which was 1990. I don't think we have to get into an exact year. But I've been on the executive board for 10 years. And if you can believe it, that still makes me the rookie of the group. We have such an amazing board of dedicated people. I'm honored to be a part of that. I first started the Boys and Girls Club doing athletics at the Lakewood branch before there was even a building. And I got to share my favorite memory. I used to play dodgeball with these kids, and I'd put the young kids, the unathletic kids on one team. I'd put the older kids on a team. We might even say dare I say, cocky kids on one team. And I used to play with those little kids. And I tell you, we beat them 9 out of 10 times. And that is all they would talk about all week. And that one time the older kids would beat me, that's all they would talk about taking out Coach Mike. So amazing memories. And I'm excited and honored to be here. I look out here and I recognize a lot of faces. There's a lot of generous donors that know this organization well. And would you raise your hand if you've been to this event more than one time? I know audience participation is the only time that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. If it's your first time, raise your hand. We welcome you as well. We welcome you as well. I'm sure there's a few people that snuck in from the hotel when they found there was a free dinner here, and hey, we're not here to judge. I'm not here to judge. Hey, I filled my table by promising a celebrity MC guest. And then when they got here, I put them in the front row, so not only can they not leave, they've got to smile and act like they're enjoying themselves too. So it doesn't matter how you got here tonight. What matters is how you leave, how these kids affect you. We're here to celebrate 7 youth, amazing youth of the years that have already won in their local branches. These guys are already winners, guys. They've already went through competition. They've already won. They've been judged on academic success, character and citizenship, healthy lifestyles, interviews, essays, poise, and public speaking. But these kids aren't the first winners. There's been previous winners. And if you look at the screens in a second, you're going to see a list of those previous winners. And I would like those previous winners to now stand to be recognized. It's amazing stuff. There. There might be a few more that are a little bashful, but we appreciate you. We'd also like to recognize all the past alumni of the Boys and Girls Club. If you're a past alumni, if you've attended a club at any time in your life, if you could now stand and be recognized, please. If your name is not Dan or Darren Zemanek, you can be seated. Darren, where are you? I see Dan. Darren's right, of course you're right in front. Dan's volunteered to help the youth of the year many times over and other mentorship opportunities with our clubs. Darren is on the board of directors with me and is actually our past board chair. And earlier this evening at a private ceremony, both of these two were recognized as our Alumni Hall of Fame. So can we give them both a round of applause? Darren, I don't know if you're more excited about that award or the fact you got to hand over that chairmanship gavel to Sue this evening. We're all thankful for Sue. But no, thank you for your service. 2 amazing gentlemen. Thank you guys very much. So much to celebrate this evening, so many incredible people to honor. In 1992, we created the Stan Nacarado Community Service Award to recognize community service and our dedicated volunteers. Named after its first recipient, who was an inspiration to all and spent his life working for this community, for Pierce County, for Tacoma itself, to make it a better place. A list of the amazing individuals and organizations who have received this award are now listed on our screen. If you are one of those individuals, if you are part of one of those organizations that has won that award, if you could please stand and be recognized at this time. Congratulations, and thank you so much. To present this year's award, I would now like to bring back to the stage Carrie Holden and introduce past winner Diane Names of the Names Family Foundation. Can we give them a round of applause?
Thank you, Mike. What an honor to help present this to another one of our local families who truly embody all the attributes of this award, not only through their foundation, but by the individual family members who have demonstrated leadership and commitment to create a great future for our youth in the community. We are honored to be able to present this year's Stan Nacarado Community Service Award to the Bamford family. The Bamford family have not only invested more than $6 million into the Pierce County community since 2010, but they volunteer countless hours with a number of incredible organizations. The mission of their family foundation is to improve the quality of life of individuals and to strengthen their communities. They have done this with the Boys and Girls Clubs by being early partners of the Starnes Family Great Futures Initiative, which provides opportunities for our young people, just like the Youth of the Year you will meet tonight as they pursue post-secondary education. They have also been a strong partner with the work they do through the Summer Boost program with Tacoma Public Schools and the University of Washington, Tacoma, as well as leadership work with the Graduate Tacoma and the Greater Tacoma Community Foundation. In addition to the Boys and Girls Clubs, Tacoma Community House, Peace Community Center, Children's Museum of Tacoma, First Five Fundamentals, and YMCA are just a few of the organizations they support. Both Cal and Joanne currently serve as campaign chairs for the University of Washington, as advisory and governing boards for the university. Cal serves on the board of Foss Waterway Seaport Museum. Joanne currently serves on the Children's Museum Board and has led a number of boards in the past. They have passed on their philanthropic spirit to their children with Drew, Heather, and Holly, all serving on numerous boards and volunteering where they live. This is a family who is truly hands-on in making community a better place, our community. Please help me welcome to the stage to accept this award, Cal and Joanne Bamford and Holly Bamford Hunt.
Thanks. On behalf of my parents, Cal and Joanne, who have truly modeled generosity of spirit and engagement in Tacoma and in their communities over the years, and on behalf of all of our family members, we're so honored and humbled to be recognized with this award, and really in such company, it's quite astounding. But I just really want to say, on behalf of our family, we truly are honored to work and support and partner with the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Puget Sound and their many partners who are really truly focused on supporting our young people, putting them at the center of the conversation, and giving them the space and the tools and the place to use their voices and their talents to contribute to the community. And that has been through we've been excited to be investors in the Great Futures efforts since near the beginning, and so many of the partnerships with our schools, and most recently, the Imagine Eastside campaign, and it's so exciting to see that coming together, that is also truly incorporating the voices and ideas of young people in designing a place that will be really a community space. So I just, again, want to say thank you, and also let's hear it for our Youth of the Year candidates, because that's what it's all about, the youth voice.
Congratulations. Can we get one more round of applause for the Bamford family? Amazing. Before we move on to, I want to recognize Janie Nagrada. The family is here tonight too, Stan's family, and I want to recognize them for being here and their support over the years. Thank you so much for that legacy, you bet. For that legacy and everything that family has done. I was told to not brag up here this evening, but I'm not an employee. I'm a board member, so I can do it, and I'm going to. The Boys and Girls Clubs of South Puget Sound has had 8 State Youth of the Year winners. 3 regional Youth of the Year winners that made it all the way to the White House. Let me break that down for you. They won here, then they won at state, then they went to California, beat everyone down there, and went all the way to the White House. Impressive stuff. That is all happened in the last 18 years. So even with my PLU math, we're pushing 50% of winning State Youth of the Years. Just saying. It doesn't happen without a lot of help from local companies and from individuals to help prepare these kids. And I want to draw your attention to a few of them this evening. The University of Washington-Tacoma, which hosted candidates for a variety of events. Michael Bushmole of Applause Associates, a speech coach who worked with each one of these candidates tonight. Probably someone I should have chatted with as well. Maddie, Photo in Motion, who brought us the fantastic images that you have seen around this evening. As well as Arvin Mosley of Dreams in Sight. He did personal brand workshops with each one of these candidates. And last but not least, our friends at Macy's that helped get this group suited up and looking so sharp this evening. But there's also, there's also countless volunteers who did mock interviews, helped with essays, listened to speeches, and we want to thank every one of you tonight. Thank you. I, too, wanted to help these candidates, and I knew what to do. I went to one of our distinguished board members, Jeff Woodworth, and I said, Jeff, you're very community involved. You're on every nonprofit. You've run a successful business. You've had to have done some public speaking. Jeff, what should I tell these kids, man? They're getting up here. There's a lot of people out here. I'm not going to lie to you. He goes, Mike, if all else fails, tell them to imagine the entire audience naked. And I said, all right, I see where you're going with that. I can see where you're going until I got here tonight. And the first person you see when you look out in this audience is Jeff Woodworth. And I'm not saying it's not good advice, Jeff. I'm saying it's a little awkward right now between you and I, man. That's all I'm going to say, Jeff. So now on to the toughest job in this building, the distinguished panel of judges. They reviewed packets, did several rounds of interviews. They listened to every single one of these speeches. And then the toughest part of all, coming to a consensus, getting 7 down to 3 finalists, getting the 3 finalists down to 1 winner. And I'd like to introduce those judges this evening. I would ask that you please stand when I announce your name, and let's hold our applause to the end. Stephanie Cantoni, co-president of Auto Warehousing. Ed Goddell, community advocate. David Emmons, executive director of the Olympic College Foundation. Christina Hatley, community advocate. Mentha Hines, vice chancellor of University of Washington-Tacoma. Aaron Jones, education systems consultant. Richard Wu, CEO of the Russell Family Foundation. And Aaron Zeiger, Executive Director of Resource Development at Bates Technical College. Can we give all of these a round of applause? Once you hear these kids, you're going to find out how hard of a job those people had. So time to introduce the stars of this evening. We have 7 Youth of the Year candidates. To help me out with the introductions, I want to bring to the stage, no stranger to this program, our 2017 Washington State Youth of the Year, Brianna Mitchell. Notice, I didn't say our Youth of the Year, I said the State Youth of the Year. That's right, she also went on and won the next level. Currently a freshman at Eastern Washington University, she will help with each introduction and then share an update on what she's been up to for the past year. Please help me welcome Brianna to the stage. Now let's get on with meeting this year's groups of winners. As we say your name, please make your way to the stage. Brianna, would you announce the first one?
we have Benjamin Welter from the North Mason Branch Youth of the Year. Benjamin has been a club member for almost 4 years. He is a senior at James A. Taylor High School and plans to attend Olympic College and pursue a career as an engineer.
Next up, we have LaBria Sharp, the East Side Branch Youth of the Year. LaBria has been a club member for 7 years. She's a sophomore at Lincoln High School and plans to attend the University of Washington, go Dogs, and then graduate to pursue a career as an attorney.
Carlos Salinger, the Lakewood Branch Youth of the Year. Carlo has been a member of the club for 10 years. He is a senior at Clover Park High School and wants to attend Washington State University to pursue a career as an athletic trainer.
Next up, we have Taylor Prom, the South Pierce County Branch Youth of the Year. Taylor has been a member for 12 years. 12 years. She's a senior at Spanaway Lake High School and plans to attend TCC and then on to UW to get her degree in civil engineering.
Kayla Ente, the D.A. Gagne Branch Youth of the Year, has been a club member for 11 years. She's a senior at Wilson High School and plans to attend the University of Washington-Tacoma when she graduates and become a high school English teacher.
Next up, we have Jade Cooper, the Al Davies Branch Youth of the Year. Jade has been a club kid for over 10 years. She is currently a junior at Charles Wright Academy and plans to attend Georgia State University to pursue her career as an artist and repertoire representative.
And finally, please help us welcome Savannah Brown, the South Kitsap Branch Youth of the Year. Savannah has been a club member for 4 years. She is a senior at South Kitsap High School and plans to attend Western Washington University to pursue a career in education. In case you guys weren't keeping track, all 7 of these candidates have 58 years of combined club membership. Wow. Please give all of our candidates a round of applause. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Last year, as one of the 9 candidates, there was so much stress and worry going on in our heads, probably similar to what these 7 behind me are going through. But then, when I looked out into the audience, I remembered my reason. Everyone out there and everyone out here tonight wants to know our story with Boys and Girls Club. I'm very thankful to have had the club in my life. They have prepared me well for college and after. Since being named the Boys and Girls Club of South Puget Sound Youth of the Year last year, I have had the opportunity to experience so many new things, representing not just Lakewood or South Puget Sound, but the entire state as the Washington State Youth of the Year. Last March, state only consisted of a few days, but in those few days, the candidates and I grew a strong bond. My favorite process of state was being in the Space Needle with everyone, practicing our speeches, and doing our mock interviews. Then in June, California was next on the list for the Pacific Region Youth of the Year competition. It was my first time being in California, and I enjoyed every second of it. The experience was life-changing, being surrounded by other people who love the club just as much as I do. The last trip was to Atlanta in July for a leadership conference. It was nice to be with all 50 state Youth of the Years and see how we connect while living at a college campus for a little bit before I experienced it myself. Before starting college, people would tell me that it was going to be very fast-paced. But luckily, I was able to keep up and finish my first quarter at Eastern Washington University with a 3.4 GPA. There have been times when I was having trouble adapting to the new environment, but with the love and support from across the state, from staff here at the club, I'm able to keep pushing. Being raised as a club kid, I realized I still need the feeling that the club has brought me all these years. That's why I started volunteering at the Spokane Boys and Girls Club, to get that same feeling, the sense of belonging. Because of the impact from the club, I'm able to stand up and speak my mind without hiding behind the crowds. To each of you here tonight, I am so thankful for all that you do for us. Your support of the clubs that has helped provide me and all of the youth of the years with the opportunities we have today. We won't be able to hear everyone's speeches tonight, but we do want you to have a chance to hear from them personally on how the club has been a place for them to become who they are. For me personally, the club has been a place to help me become accepted for who I am and to become a better version of myself every day. So, now we will hear from each of the candidates. We will start with Benjamin and then move down the line. You can come up to the mic. How has the club helped you become the person you are today?
I think if I had to say the one thing of many that the club has done for me is probably all the connections that I've made, not only with just adults through this process, but like the kids there too. Like there's so many middle schoolers I probably would not have batted an eye at before, and I think that really built me up to being the leader I am today, to be honest.
Thank you. Libria. How has the club helped you become the person you are today?
They helped me by teaching me to be a responsible and self-confident person.
Thank you. Carlo? How has the club helped you become the person you are today?
The club has helped me become the person I am today by giving me the opportunity to grow up with the best leaders and role models that anyone could ask for, turning me into the servant leader I am today.
Thank you. Taylor, how has the club helped you become the person you are today?
The club has helped me become the person I am today by providing me with the leaders that I am surrounded with every single day at the club.
Thank you. Kayla? How has the club helped you become the person you are today?
Because of the love and support that I've gotten from staff, I've grown into a confident person, and now I have a voice for myself.
Thank you. Jade? How has the club helped you become the person you are today?
The club has provided me with mentors, and it's inspired me to want to be a mentor later on in my life.
Thank you. Jade? How has the club helped you become the person you are today?
The club has helped me flourish into the beautiful individual I have become today and has inspired me to help all youth at all times.
Thank you. And Savannah. Congratulations to all of the candidates this year. I wish you all the best. Could we give them one more round of applause?
Wow. Think you guys could do that at age 16, 17, 18? I don't think so. I'm having trouble with it at 42. So amazing work, you guys. And Brianna, we are so proud of you and what you've done this past year. Congratulations. Can we give her one more round of applause? You are a great representative of the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Puget Sound. We are finally at the moment you've been waiting for, the opening of envelopes. All candidates, let me back up a little bit. Every candidate on this stage is going to receive at least $2,500 scholarship as Youth of the Year from their respective branches. Oh, it gets better. The three finalists will each receive a minimum of $3,500 each, and the winner will receive a minimum of $5,000. Just from what we've heard tonight, I have no idea how these 8 judges came to a consensus on 3 finalists, much less one winner. To do us the honor this evening of naming the final three, I bring to the stage someone that needs no introduction. He's such an impressive community leader that last month, the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Puget Sound renamed our entire giving societies the Willie Stewart Legacy in his honor. The only man I know, go ahead, clap for him. Willie is the only man I know that has run out of wall space for the amount of plaques of recognition this guy has received. He is also the proudest Texan you will ever meet. Can you help me welcome Willie Stewart to this stage?
To our president and to Mike, thank you for the honor that you bestowed on me tonight. And it was presented to me earlier tonight at a special reception. But I'm thrilled to be a part of this program. This represents my 47th year as a member of the Boys and Girls Club. When I first started, it was the Boys Club. You in the audience tonight are the reason why persons like Willie Stewart and others are committed to service, because you support us and you believe us. And then the real outcome is what we've seen with the young people here tonight. Now, for the top three persons who will give a speech in no special order. I'm honest, because I'm a Texan. Jade Cooper.
I was raised by a single mother who has endured 19 brain surgeries. So I've always had an example of what a strong woman looks like. My mom has constantly told me that while pregnant with me, she prayed every day that I would know my self-worth. I guess that prayer really worked. But all jokes aside, I'm a firm believer in knowing one's self-worth, and I have to say that came from my mother's teachings, but also from the people I surrounded myself with. I started going to the Boys and Girls Club at the age of 6, and ever since I walked through those doors, my life has forever been changed. Being at the club every day, I built lasting relationships with both peers and staff, such as Mr. Patrick, a staff that comes to mind. He was someone who always made me laugh and feel comforted, despite my circumstances at home with my mother's illness. Not only did the club provide me with mentors and relationships that I continue to have to this day, they also gave me my second chance to pursue my education at Charles Wright Academy. During my 5th grade year, I was interested in Charles Wright, so I applied. I got accepted, and I was so excited to attend the school, until I was then told that I could not go because we couldn't afford the tuition. I was disappointed, but I knew that my mother could not take on the additional financial burden, considering all the medical expenses she had already endured. So as I entered middle school, I was finally able to join the Teen Center, and this is where I participated in Torch Club and held the treasurer's position. Through the club, I was able to learn more about financial management and participate in community service projects in and outside of the club. Being in the leadership role of the treasurer, I was then chosen by my staff members to have another opportunity to pursue my education at Charles Wright Academy through the Yazzie Scholarship. Miss Tony and Miss Sunshine told my mother I should apply, and of course I was excited and was accepted and got in, but this time I was on a fully paid scholarship through the Boys and Girls Club. When I began at Charles Wright, I had to adjust from a public school to a private school, which took a toll on me. My 8th grade year, adjusting to a new school, and also having to take care of my mother after her 18th and 19th brain surgeries, I didn't get the chance to attend the club as much as I would have liked. Although I was not there every day, Al Davies never changed when I went back. Yes, of course, there were new members, new staff, and programs, but their mission, their love and support was always the same, and I know that it will always be that way. Joining the club at such a young age, it gave me the opportunity to be a child with other children. It was at the club where we were given the love and support we needed to simply be kids. As sad as it is to say, the children of today are not given these same opportunities because of America's negligence to their needs of love and support. I see it every day in news stories, children being bullied, thinking that the only way out of their harsh situations is suicide. As a teenager who has volunteered with younger children, it breaks my heart to hear stories about young boys and girls taking their lives because of bullying. While it may be naive to believe that we can create a nation where no child experiences the pain of bullying, I do not find it naive for me to believe that we can create more safe spaces for them, places for them to know and understand their self-worth, places like the Boys and Girls Club. I am Jade Cooper, Al JV's 2018 Youth of the Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade. In the audience are some distinguished Charles Wright people, and I'm going to ask 3 of them to make sure they come visit with you before the night is over. Andrew Cheney, Carolyn Cheney, and Brad Cheney. And I'm going to check with you. If they don't visit with you, let me know, okay? Carlo Salinger.
After a huge third down stop, down by only 2, Salinger and McDaniel are back to receive the punt. The ball is kicked and received by McDaniel. McDaniel turns to lateral the ball to Salinger. Salinger breaks through a hole of defenders, cuts left into the open field, across midfield, to the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Warriors! The crowd goes crazy. 27-22, Clover Park versus Renton High. The first win in 4 years. Football. I just love it. The grit, the grind, the hustle. I've played football almost as long as I've attended the Lakewood Boys and Girls Club, and the life lessons have been pretty identical. Can any of you raise your hand if you've played football? Do you guys know that feeling when you're in the huddle and you see your brothers who have your back, ready to endure whatever happens on the next play? That sense of belonging, strength, and pride? That same feeling I get from the club. You see, football and the club are alike in many different ways. You learn how to accomplish something much bigger than yourself and how to lead. Many children are not given the opportunity to have an outlet that not only guides them in the right direction, but grows a bond between what is nothing less than family. From birth, I was what society would call abandoned, or better yet, a fumble, like in football. My grandma, who was my mom, adopted me and recovered the fumble. She gave me a name, a home, and a purpose. This was my family until I became a member of the Lakewood Boys and Girls Club. Being a member at the club meant I got to hang with my friends and some of the coolest staff, like Mr. Scott and Mr. Corey. I found myself looking forward to being at the club rather than being at home. When things were tough at home, being at the club was like being in the end zone with a touchdown pass. It was where I wanted to be at my best and my worst. The club became home, and my friends and staff became family. 2 families, 2 homes. Life really didn't seem that bad with everything stacked up against me as a boy from Lakewood. A background of drug and alcohol addicts and a single mom household, the club gave me the pride and strength to endure anything. You see, in football, I made it to high school with a team who lost every game for 3 years straight. Finally, senior year, we won 2 games. You'd think I'd give up after all the losses, but it really didn't mean much to me because I gained much more than I could ever ask for. Teammates into brothers and values instilled by my coaches. Being abandoned out the womb by my birth parents, separated by my siblings, and witnessing lives taken from drug and alcohol abuse, the club filled that void and taught me to find the wins in those situations. That's why the losses weren't the main factors for me. I'm sorry. The club taught me that even though life may throw you a bad pass, a fumble at the snap, or an interception at the goal line, that I decide what the outcome will be, even if the scoreboard says otherwise. I plan on attending one of the 3 universities I've been accepted to, Central Washington University, Eastern Washington University, or Washington State University, to become an athletic trainer. But even though to society, my life scoreboard may look like I'm losing, the club has taught me that I decide what matters, and my scoreboard says I'm winning. I'm Carlos Salinger, 2018 Lakewood Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo. When you mention Washington State, there's a guy in the audience by the name of William who would like for that. But if you choose Central Washington, you would go to school where William's boss is. Oh, okay. So you have some options.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Great. Kala Ante.
Good evening. How many of you know a family or a friend that was homeless? Growing up, that was me. My mom had left an abusive relationship with my father, resulting in my family being homeless. But through hard work and dedication, my mom was able to rebuild herself into something greater. It took time and it took effort, but she was determined to provide us with a quality home and lifestyle. While she worked 3 jobs as a full-time college student, I began attending the Gagne Boys and Girls Club. I started going to the club in 2nd grade, the logo of holding hands being the first to catch my attention. At first, I only thought of the club as a place to go to while my mom was working. Now, 3 years of growing up surrounded by love and support, I can confidently say that the Boys and Girls Club has become my family, supporting me in even the rainiest of days. One of those days happened when I was in middle school. I witnessed a close family member of mine attempt suicide. It was like any other Sunday morning. When I opened the door to the garage, the trunk engine was on, smoke was everywhere, and he was on the floor, having seizures. Saliva was foaming at his mouth. I had a hard time coping with this situation, especially because I believed that I couldn't tell anyone. But after confiding in staff, I knew I wasn't alone and that I had someone to lean on. Going to the club gave me a voice, and because of the staff, I've been able to overcome many obstacles in my life. I was insecure because I never knew my father, and I felt incomplete. Because of my support system at the club, I've morphed into a confident woman, and I'm able to love myself, skin tone and all. I now know that I'm a beautiful, strong, and intelligent woman of color. My mother always told me, "Kayla, give back to those in need because we wouldn't be where we are today without the help of others." Because of such experiences, I've grown passionate about becoming a voice for the youth. As a club member, I've been able to engage in fundraisers through programs like Torch Club and Keystone. And at school, I joined Multicultural Student Union, Youth Leading Change, and Key Club, all community service-based clubs. Because of the Boys and Girls Club, I've been able to make positive changes within my community and aspire to continue while attending the University of Washington to become a high school English teacher. I want to be able to reach out to young individuals that are struggling the way the club has done for me. Thank you to those who have helped me and continue to do so, because without your love and support, I would not be the person I am now. There are a lot of rainy days in my life, but the Boys and Girls Club became the umbrella protecting me in the storm. I am Kayla Ente, and I am the 2018 D.A. Gagne Youth of the Year. Thank you.
So I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she likes to catch me crying. Usually it's during This Is Us. You're with me. You're with me. Don't act like you're above it. And so I've been the master of this. I have the nose one, the nose itch, wipe away. I've got the yawn outside one. And I saw a lot of that tonight. I saw the nose one, I saw the outside one. I saw it as I looked around tonight. These kids are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. I'm so impressed with the 3 of you. Can we give them a round? Just so you know, if it's up to me, they're all 3 winners. So I blame the judges for narrowing it down, but all 3 of you guys, all 7 of you guys are winners tonight. Congratulations and a great job. I'd now like to, you can clap for that, that's all right. I would now like to bring up to stage one of our prestigious judges and a great friend of the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Puget Sound, Miss Erin Jones. Would you please come up here?
So I don't think anyone actually knows the story of how I was first connected to Boys and Girls Club. One day, a very long time ago, I was 29 years old, January, I get a call. Is this Erin Jones? Like, yes, this is Erin Jones. Well, this is the Seattle Storm. We'd like to offer you a tryout. We're having an open tryout. And what I wanted to say was, you know, I'm 29 years old and I have 3 small children, right? But I didn't say that. I said, sure, when's the tryout? And I ended up trying out for the Portland Fire and the Seattle Storm in one weekend. So those of you who are athletes can appreciate this. I began my training at the YMCA but I got seen by a manager one day at the Y, and I did all of my team training at the Al Davies Boys and Girls Club. That was almost 20 years ago, and that was my first introduction to Boys and Girls Club. I would become a teacher here in Tacoma, and actually a couple of my first students are here tonight, which is super exciting, who were very involved in the Boys and Girls Club. And so I got to watch my students on the east side of Tacoma benefit from the East Side Boys and Girls Club. But then even closer to home for me, we had to move away to Spokane. About 12 years ago, my sister-in-law overdosed, and she'd been part of the Hilltop Crips. And when she overdosed, the Hilltop Crips, we had some challenges with her daughter becoming connected, and so we knew we needed to get our daughter now away from those influences and moved away to Spokane. And when we moved back to Olympia, when I began working for OSPI, we needed a place for our kids to go, and somebody came to me one day and said, there's a Thurston County Boys and Girls Club, and we really think you should be involved. And our youngest son is Asperger's. He's on the spectrum. Our youngest son has had 2 birthdays where not one person has shown up. Not one person. And when he joined the Boys and Girls Club, it was the very first time he had friends. And so for my children, my boys especially, the Boys and Girls Club was their salvation. Israel, for the very first time, built his own computer there, and he is now a computer science and mathematics double major at Harvey Med College. He's a junior there. He now has birthday parties where lots of kids come at college. But I credit all of that to the Boys and Girls Club, to giving him a space where he could find himself and learn to give back. And so for me, there's a lot of personal investment in Boys and Girls Club. I watched it save my older son, who really struggled with dysgraphia in high school and just feeling like a part of his community. And the Boys and Girls Club allowed him to be the coach that he is. He loves coaching little kids. And at the Boys and Girls Club of Thurston County, he was able to coach little kids. And that's his greatest desire. His dream is to teach high school with his dad and coach. But that all started for him at the Boys and Girls Club. And as I was invited to judge this year, I know they expected to have to beg me, because I don't know if you watch me on Facebook, but I'm all over the place, and I'm really busy. But when they called and said, you know, we have this big ask, would you come and read and judge? And I said yes before they could even finish, because for me, I have watched what the Boys and Girls Club can do for young people and the brilliance of the young people who are in that space. And so for me, saying yes was easy. And then they said, you know, we have this other ask, and it's really big, and could you do something else? Yes. And so for me, it's easy to be up in front of you tonight to ask you to do something really important. It's really easy to show up to a dinner. It's easy to celebrate young people. But this requires money. Doing this work, this great work that saves lives every day, we got to read all the 7 applications. And, you know, my husband could tell you there were a lot of tears as I read applications. These young people have walked through a ton to get here tonight. I want us to give them another hand, all 7 of them. I spent my teaching career in Title I schools with the poorest kids, and one of the things that I believe is every kid is gifted and talented, every single one of our young people, and our job is to be treasure hunters. Our job is to find the treasure in the young people and to help them see it and nurture it, and that's what Boys and Girls Clubs is about. It's about being those treasure hunters for the young people who are in our communities, who each one of them have gifts and talents. And once we find those gifts, to give them a safe space to develop and nurture those gifts so they can become the leaders that we already see and the young people that you've seen in front of you. But that doesn't happen without money. Every single dollar matters. There's some of y'all that $25 is you're gonna feel that. And I understand it. I got 21, 22, 23-year-old kids. I understand that. But I want you to give in a way that will push you. And I want you to give realizing that there are hundreds More kids like the 7 young people that we honored tonight who are waiting in the wings, desperate for this opportunity to become the best version of themselves. So I dare you to give big tonight. I dare you to create more opportunities. When I think about the East Side Boys and Girls Club and moving into this new facility, I lived right across the street from where that facility will go, and I lived right next to the Portland Nursery. I know that community very well, and I think about how many thousands of young people will be impacted. And so I want you to imagine the hundreds of other young people who need this opportunity. And I want you to think about your own children. And what are they worth? And I want you to give big tonight. Educators and folks who work with kids absolutely are life changers. Absolutely are life changers. And I just want you to remember that every penny you spend, every dollar that you spend, has the opportunity to change a life. Every dollar that you invest creates another opportunity for a leader to be raised up right here in this community. So I thank you for every dollar that you give. I also would ask you that for those of you that are not engaging in some way, that you offer to mentor a young person, offer to get involved as a volunteer at Boys and Girls Clubs as well. Today, I spoke at an elementary school in Tukwila, and when I was done speaking, a little black girl ran up and she wrapped her arms around my legs. This little black girl had shaved off all her hair last week because somebody told her her hair was ugly. And our principal called me yesterday and said, "Erin, I have a little girl whose hair was just like yours, but she and her older sister both shaved it off. Could you come talk to my kids today?" And that little girl, without being prompted, wrapped her arms around my legs this afternoon. And she looked up in my eyes and she said, "Miss Erin, your hair is so beautiful." And I said, "Are you the little girl who shaved your head?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Is my hair beautiful?" "Yes." "Can you grow yours back to be beautiful like mine?" "Yes." And here's why I share that story. I became a representation of what was possible for her. You can absolutely be a champion for a kid. And so I dare you, don't just give away money, give of yourself and invest, because every investment matters. Thank you.
That's what you call the slow walk, to give you guys plenty of time with that writing right there. Erin, thank you so much for those passionate words. For those passionate words as a teacher, for those passionate words as a parent, they go so far. I lied earlier. I said there's only one audience participation. I asked you guys raise your hands. That was the easy part. This is the heavy lifting. Thank you. Now the moment we've all been waiting for. No more commercial breaks. No more additional speeches. No more talk by me. Don't clap for that. Let's announce this year's winner. Please welcome back to the stage the chair of the Board of Directors, Sue Shipley, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Puget Sound CEO and President, Carrie Holden, for the big announcement. Would you guys join me?
So when Mike came up to begin emceeing this, I whispered in his ear, "You're going to do a great job." Hasn't he done a great job for us tonight? What an awesome guy. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight to hear just a handful of stories about the true impact that we have in the lives of our kids every day. And this was only 7 of them. There's hundreds, you know. Hundreds and hundreds of children, and they all have a story to tell. And they can all tell that story because of you guys. So I want to thank you, before we announce our winner, for being the incredibly caring and sharing kinds of people that you are. If you didn't know where your money was going and the sport before tonight, I know that now as you leave, you're going to be confident that you made a good investment. But now is the moment that you've been waiting for, the announcement of the 2018 Boys and Girls Club, South Puget Sound, will be. Nobody knows. Kayla and Tay, please come up.
This whole process has been extremely overwhelming emotionally and mentally, and I just want to say thank you to all the staff, my mentor, Miss Ashley, for all the help she's put in for me to do all of this. I complained to her a lot about how stressed I was, so thank you for that. Thank you to my mom, she works so hard. She's amazing. And thank you to all my teachers, Tantler and Marlo. They've been so supportive of me, and they've helped me really grow into a more vocal person. And thank you to everyone for the whole process. Thank you.
Pretty special stuff right there. Give it up one more time. Congratulations. We want to thank you all so much for coming this evening, and I hope you leave as energized as I am. Please leave your envelopes on the table. Drive safe. I heard there was a little snow about 24 hours ago, and take the time, grab your phones, and put this date in for next year, too. We want to see you all back here next year. Can we give one more round of applause? Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you.